Welcome to this INFINii presentation this evening, and my name is Ken Eggleston. I'm the Vice President of Sales for INFINii, and I want to welcome each of you as guests, and also those of you who've been with us before, welcome back. I think you're going to find that as we run through this tonight, you're really going to have an opportunity to take a look at something that could impact your future in a way you might not even yet realize. A revolution is happening around the world. I think everybody gets that. We're living in a time of unprecedented change like never before. We all see the changes in technology. We experience them. We're running to get our new iPhone every 6 months. We see that industries and economies are shifting. Technology is replacing our old economy. We see robotronics and everything else going into a lot of the industrial lines. And even if you're, driving down the turnpike, for a simple example, you can see how the people that used to take your money are disappearing and everything's just becoming automated. It is the wave of the future. And around the world, people are struggling to earn a living in this new economy if they're not prepared. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight, getting in front of this. We know that millions around the world are struggling in today's economy, without question. We know that we're in a global economic Titanic problem, as CNN Money likes to call it, in a recent article. And some of you may be young and have not paid attention to the word Titanic in there unless you saw Leo DiCaprio's movie. But the Titanic is about that ill-fated cruise liner in 1912 that sunk in the Atlantic. So that's not really a great thing to compare the global economy with, but that's exactly what's happening on a global scale. If we look in the U.S. here in North America, we've got 1 million bankruptcies on average almost every year, and it's continuing to get worse. Matter of fact, right now there's strong talk about a second housing bubble getting ready to pop and the stock market having a significant problem. So everybody's nervous right now. We've got the Euro unemployment. Some of the demographics coming out of that area, especially Greece and Spain, we're talking upwards of 45% unemployment in some areas, and especially impacting the younger generation in the 20s and 30s very significantly. We know there's 600 million jobs minimum are required within a decade here, and then when we begin to look at how many people are actually allowed to work, we know all the government statistics that we hear about all the time, and governments can change around any numbers to fit what they want for political purposes, but we see the cry out there from all the people that are at work. And we are in a global economy. I mean, as I've said before, if China sneezes, the U.S. catches a cold. We're all interrelated through all these different economic engines, and especially the markets. And the U.S. middle class is an example I like to talk about because it's shrinking. It's certainly not growing. And if we truly look at the cost of goods and we bring everything in an inflation comparison right here, from the 1970s, late 1970s, to coming into current, the U.S. middle class has only experienced about a 6% wage increase. Matter of fact, in true spendable income, in President Johnson's era, back when I was born in the mid-60s, it was about $19 per hour as far as equating in dollars what you could buy. Today, it's sitting at about $22. That's a ridiculously slow pace at all, and people are having a tremendous strain put upon them. So we know dramatically shrinking middle class in developing countries is seeing the same things. So folks, we're in a global situation here, and that's really what we want to talk about tonight, because for every downturn, there's an upturn. For every dying economic empire, a new one is born. I mean, we can think about economic empires that have been born since just .com, and we begin to understand that. But it's not the fittest that survive in the process, and I really do love this Origin of Species quote, but those who are most adaptable to change. So this presentation tonight is really looking for the early adapters that are out there. One of my favorite books, The Tipping Point, talks about timing, the right place, the right time, and those individuals that get in front of that are the entrepreneurs. They're the early adapters that get out in front of this wave. And people who are adapters understand the dynamics that are hitting across the board on the digital frontier. For example, with Uber. I mean, I never would have believed that we'd be using personal vehicles as the largest taxi service in the world right now. They don't even own a single taxi, and yet you see this company here that launched in 2009 using a digital platform through being market valued at $50 billion by the Wall Street Journal, and it is literally on the verge of putting taxis out of business. Who wouldn't prefer getting in a high-end vehicle for a nice ride rather than crawling into a messed up cab? It was a brilliant idea. Now, I can guarantee you the person who invented Uber would tell you that everybody that he talked to early on about that concept would have told him he was crazy, but he was an early adapter. When you look at Airbnb, this is the largest accommodation service in the world, and they don't own a single hotel. Market value at about $25.5 billion according to CNN Money, and compare that to Hilton with an evaluation of about $19 billion. Look at all the real estate they own. The old system is changed. You don't have to have the old brick and mortar process in place in order to capitalize this, and that's really where we want to go tonight with INFINii, because INFINii will help you capitalize on the next mega trend if you're ready to do so. Now, we've all seen some of the small retail malls starting to look like this. We've seen the massive store closures that are happening and recognize that the economy is changing and the way people shop are changing. You know, when you think about the effect on the world of retail, Walmart, Target, Macy's, Sears, Best Buy, these are iconic names in the North America shopping region, and you know, some of them are reaching into other spans of the world, but including Black Friday and every other type of sale that they try, look at what's happening with their numbers, down 30%, down 3%, 39%, 33%, 18%, and it's just shocking. So while retail businesses are having this massive negative impact hitting them right now because people are turning to convenience, look at what's happened to Amazon.com, 117% increase. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see a whole bunch of arrows going down and a big arrow going up at 117. So that's what we're talking about, the online sale of goods, and it's exploding and growing at 15 to 20% every year. It's not declining, it's not fighting to increase, but it's actually growing at 15 to 20%. You have to stop, you know, and really understand what it takes for business to grow at that level every single year. Now, there's over $300 billion in US dollars in combined sales just during 2014 in Amazon, eBay, Google, and on Facebook. So imagine, though, and just stop and think real quick, and imagine if these companies actually started working for you. So your question might be, how is that possible? Well, think of them finding your customers, processing your payments, delivering the products, and the customer support. And how that's possible for you is because the genius behind our CEO and founder, as well as the other founders of this company, that sat there and said, we can get in front of this, let's do it. And of course, they're brilliant, and especially our CEO happens to be a brilliant programmer and was able to put together the platform which is revolutionizing this industry. And the huge shift that's taking place from offline to online is the key that's allowing INFINii to go down the runway like a 747 and take off. And the question is, do you want to be one of the passengers? I know I certainly do. So this opportunity right here is where major brands are rapidly fully making the move to online. We see it, we get it, we know that every store out there is doing their own affiliate links. It's just common sense. And with e-commerce now being a $1 trillion global industry, it's creating previously unavailable opportunities for profit. It doesn't matter if you're in the U.S., to 349 billion as we talked about, Canada 27 billion, France 43 billion, UK 99 billion, Germany 62 billion, China $672 billion, Korea 39 billion, Japan 90 billion, we look at Brazil 20 billion, Australia 19 billion. I could keep going across. So this isn't like a little isolated area. The entire globe is already moving to this, and it's happening rapidly. The research firm eMarketer projects global e-commerce sales will literally eclipse 3.5 trillion with a T within the next few years. So the question that we want to ask you is, how much of the 3.5 trillion would you like? That's a pretty bold question for us to ask, but there's a reason why we do. INFINii has already been paving this frontier for the last 2+ years. Our members have already made over $2 billion when this slide was created. Now it's closer to $2.5 billion through their sales on the different e-commerce platforms. And those same members have profited from those sales to the tune of over $380 million, and that number is bigger by now as well. So that's a massive statement. And you know, one of the things I like to do is when we're talking about this is to personalize it and talk about individuals, because it's one thing for a company to go through and talk about this. It's another thing to see real people doing it. And, you know, that brings me to this couple right here. I've had the honor of getting to know this couple, and they're just what I refer to as salt of the earth people. I just love them. And Parrish and Nikki will literally do anything for themselves and for others. You know, they served in security forces over in Iraq, and you can see Parrish holding that rather large gun there on the right-hand side, looking rather mean and daunting. And you can see beautiful Nikki, his wife, which is a clear demonstration that Parrish is actually a very good salesman, even though he didn't know it. So he has this beautiful wife and bride, and look at that check. Look at those earnings. And if you see the name DS Domination, that was actually a subsidiary of INFINii that was launched to begin this process back in September of 2013. And I'm going to ask them to come on in a moment, not just yet, but I'm going to ask them to come on in a moment and tell you exactly how they've accomplished this incredible lifestyle. But first I want to walk through a couple more things so you understand. What we're talking about in this model that's allowed Nikki and Parrish and others to have just this incredible life-changing success is that it allows you to generate profits without inventory, no upfront cost. Now this is huge. If you're thinking about a home-based business or you've been in network marketing before, you know many times your upfront cost to get started is anywhere from $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 up to $3,000 because they want you to buy the products and then you know you're going to go introduce them to your family and friends and run around with lotions, potions, and shakes and anything else. That's not what happens here. There are no upfront costs. There's no traffic generation that you need to. Our system takes care of this. There's no shipping and management that you have to worry about. You're not running down to you know, the post office or anything else. Now, this platform does all these different things for you in so many different ways, and that's the exciting part that we see take place here. So, of course, that's convenient to pop up in my way. So the INFINii model is proven, and it's 2.5 billion sales in just over 2 years, so it isn't a question of if it works. And our stats show that INFINii members earn 6 times more than eBay and 7.2 times more than Amazon on the average seller on those platforms because of the system that we have in place here. So INFINIi's system is like no other in the world. It's simple. It's an automated way to profit. You've got you know, the ideal situation for handling Amazon, eBay, and the other platforms with us. And it's without spending hours a day on technical tasks. And it's without becoming a marketing expert. This was very important to me, as it well may be to you. I'm 50 years old. I wasn't spending a lot of time in the computer lab. I was instead playing sports. I should have gone back and spent time in the computer lab because those are the people that are making the world run right now. But instead, I was enjoying myself on sports, and I struggle with a lot of the online issues as far as computer and etc. So it's important to me that you don't have to be a marketing expert, and you don't have to chase family and friends. This is a very important issue because a lot of people out there, you've already burnt through what we call your warm market, which is your closed circle. But what I would tell you is that your family and friends, this isn't going to be like them running away from you when you introduce somebody to the latest fruit that's been found in the Amazon, or a mushroom on the bottom of the ocean, or an algae in a faraway volcano that's going to make you healthy. This is about what they are already doing: shopping on Amazon, shopping on Google, handling eBay stuff. It's a no-brainer. And if you can dedicate just 60 minutes a day to this, you can have a life-changing process in front of you. Now, our system in action, and this is really taking you through each step here. I want to introduce you to the monkey. This is what our CEO did to me, and he said, Ken, I'm going to introduce you to a monkey on Amazon. This monkey sells for $8.96. And of course, my response to him was, Okay, great. I know I'm not a computer guy, but you giving me a hard time here or what? He says, no, pay attention. This monkey is $8.96 on Amazon. Utilizing our system and going through the process, you identify that the same monkey on eBay is selling for $17.98. This isn't rocket science, Ken. It's identifying different sources, sourcing one to another where things are being sold, and then realizing a profit of $9. Now, that's not a lot for that single profit, but one of the things that I knew was I knew individuals like Parrish and Nikki and the earnings that they were doing, and it was by taking this and simply multiplying it out many times over. And so, when you begin to understand that the system in action is doing this for you as the products, and you're doing the work and identifying some things. But look on AliExpress right now. For those of you that aren't familiar with that platform, it's as large as Amazon. But you can see on the upper right-hand corner that we've got a flip leather mobile phone case, and that's selling for $3.52. On the other side, on Amazon, we've got a very similar flip phone case selling for $28.99. That's a much larger profit on very similar products. It's $25.47. So you can imagine starting to identify that and bringing those into that marketplace. Now, the other side, ladies, that you may well enjoy is to scan and sell. If you're scanning items that you find at stores, you can actually sell them on Amazon. Amazon actually supplies an app that can tell you exactly what the product is selling for. So you simply scan the items in at your local shops, you're utilizing your system, load it into Amazon to sell, collect the profits, and let's say on a particular product you found, it's $24.85, it sells on Amazon for $39.50, and you profit $14.65. Now, again, to a network marketer like myself, these numbers don't sound very big right away. So if you're experienced in the network marketing industry, you might be thinking, well, those are small profits. I tell you what, one thing I've seen, they're not very small, because when you start to consider, if you take Amazon and eBay, the example we did on the monkey, on $9.02 profit on each one, you got an international site that we were talking about, the phone cases at $25.47 profit. You look at the shop and scan comment that I made on the product identified at $14.65. Now imagine your total profit on those three examples were $49.14. Let's take that and use those same items times 50 sales. So in this hypothetical example, you're talking about $2,470 that you've earned from that. We minus out the Amazon and other fees, and that drops to $2,150. Folks, that's $2,150 a month. Consider that over an easy 80% of all bankruptcies could be avoided if the person had an additional $500 a month coming in. That can be life-changing money for a lot of people. But now that you understand the process, what I want to do is take you back to this couple here with Nikki and Parrish. And it's still the same big guy on the right-hand side with that big gun in his hand. It's still that beautiful young lady in the bottom right-hand corner. But that check we're looking at is about $120,000 larger than the previous check we looked at. So, I don't know what they're doing. Well, I do, but I like to say we're going to find out exactly what they're doing here, because this couple is just absolutely amazing. And I actually want to find out what they closed 2015 out at. So, Nikki and Parrish, are you guys there?
Hey.
You there, guys?
Hey, can you hear us?
All right, yeah, well, I'm still impressed with Parrish's salesman skills and how he ever was able to get you to go out on that first date, Nikki, but we'll leave that for another time. And I just want to see that big smile on Parrish's face, your big smile on that stage. You guys are just like, incredible. And, just tell us your story, because from what I understand, you've never been involved in network marketing before. Here you guys were over serving in Iraq, and just take us away and let us know.
Sounds good. Sounds good. First of all, good evening.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to leave the whole salesman comment alone, because I know that's going to make him go into a whole nother story.
It's a good story.
It's not a good story.
It's a good story.
It's not. It's not. But no, we came across the opportunity of all places on Facebook. A high school friend made a post of a sale she made on eBay, and at that time, both of us were overseas, and me being an accountant, I did a lot of the ordering for our company, just random things. I mean, Jell-O, cereal, random stuff that the Americans really wanted to have over there in Iraq. And the only place that we could get them was Amazon. So, you know, when I came across, you know, my friend from high school's post, and, you know, I asked her a couple of questions, and she said, yeah, you know, I'm selling eBay, Amazon, all that stuff. And I had to sit back and think, like, wait a minute. You know, I know the power of Amazon because I know how much money that we pay them for random things like Cheerios and honeycombs and stuff. So I was like, there's totally a market for this. You know, she invited me to a webinar such as this that everybody else is on right now listening to us. And, I mean, I was sold. I mean, I didn't even need to get through the entire presentation before I was like, Skyping Parrish, like, hey, are you cool with this? You know, this will totally work. And he was like, hey, do it. You know, and
well, yeah, okay.
In a nutshell, he was like, yeah, go ahead. You know, so we attacked it, and this was around, I say, November 2013, and you know, we joined. I came home first at the end of December 2013, and I was supposed to go back in January, February, March, April. Yeah, needless to say, I never went back. That's how quickly we were able to start turning profits with this business. And at that time, we were just selling on eBay. You know, the potential there is just so massive. And like you said, we've never sold anything before. The only selling experience that I had was, you know, I sold a Girl Scout cookie here or there in elementary school, and I think that's pretty much it. Did you sell anything?
I sold my skill sets, but nothing like that. I mean,
yeah. Did you ever sell like an actual product to somebody?
Well, I guess not.
Yeah, okay.
Physical product, no.
Exactly, you know, so coming from a background that was so far away from selling anything to anyone, you know, we were able to just attack this full force. And, I mean, like I said, I came home December 2013, and Parrish, he stayed overseas in Iraq because we were, well, all over the place. He stayed overseas. I think you were in Indonesia at that particular point in time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were able to replace my income fairly quickly, but we were still like, okay, wait a minute. We still need to make sure that we can replace both of our incomes.
Because we relied on both incomes to maintain our standard of living.
Exactly. We like to travel.
And I wasn't fully on board. I knew what she was doing. I knew it sounded interesting, but I was thinking, if I can't shoot it, how can we make money?
How can I make money?
Really, I mean, I wasn't sold until I came home. And when I came home, she took me to an event.
I didn't take him to an event. I dragged him. I threatened him. He was going to go. I'd already bought the ticket. And
I went there, and with the idea that I was not going to like it and that it was taking away from my casino time, and I didn't want to really listen to anybody that was up there speaking, and I got a total eye-opener. It was life-changing for me. It changed my parameters and made me realize that, you know, I didn't have to go out there and physically go out and work to make money, that I can actually make it from home. And it was at that point that, you know, Nikki threatened me and said, if you don't come on, then I'm not going to let you go back. So.
Yeah, Parrish, let me ask you a question here. How did you guys close out 2015? Because that check I'm looking at right there is knocking on the door towards $400,000, and that was October 31st. What did you guys close out 2015 in e-commerce profits and affiliate?
We closed out right under $1 million, $500,000. I'm sorry, right under $500,000.
So, you know, that's incredible to go ahead and you guys had no previous experience in this industry. You come back from, how many years were you over in Iraq?
10 years.
So you were over in that region of the world for 10 years, completely removed from anything. You come back here and you begin this process, and really without a significant warm market to reach out to or anything else, you just dove in and you took the training that's in the back office and through the training that we offer and the live trainings and all that, and you just made it happen. You know, walk us through that process when you first started. And Parrish, I know you have talked about the fact that, you know, you identify items that are selling for sometimes $1, and you're reselling them for, 10x that or 20x sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, in coming into this business, Nikki and I were never marketers. We didn't want to chase our family or our friends down and say, hey, come join this, because we didn't want to deal with it. Yeah, we really didn't want to deal with it. We just wanted to go ahead and make money. We knew that we needed to replace my salary. We had already replaced hers. We knew that we needed to replace mine, and the way that we do things is we just get the business. And, now our family's chasing us.
Literally.
Literally
chasing us, yes.
Literally
chasing exactly. Us. Our entire family and friends, they all knew that we were overseas for all this time, and for us to magically just end up staying at home and not have someone take us back to the airport, they just couldn't fathom what was going on, but they kind of watched. And what ended up happening is, as they saw that we were able to continue our lifestyle and actually surpass our previous lifestyle, which is crazy, then they started to ask us questions and say, hey, what exactly are you guys doing? We started taking them shopping. Like you mentioned in one of the presentations that, you can scan for profits, scan items for sale, and that's exactly what we latched onto. I like to shop. Parrish is an undercover shopper as well. He just won't admit it. But but we absolutely love to shop, and we found some little niches out there that we just were able to attack. People think this business, you have to spend a lot of money to get started, and absolutely you do not.
No, you really don't.
What was our first threshold? We wouldn't go over $20.
$20, yeah. We started outsourcing items that were $20, not over $20, but $20 and under.
Then we went to 10. We wouldn't buy anything over $10 to ship in, and then now we're even cheaper than that.
Yeah, we're right at $5 or below. We literally do not spend over $5 to source the items to make the income that you see on the screen right now, and it's a direct result of the training, the platform, and putting that information to use properly to put all those what's the word I'm looking for? To put all those processes to work. Just letting them work for us. So
absolutely, we didn't do anything outside of the training. Like, we clearly followed the training and took action. That was probably the biggest thing that we did different than a lot of people, is that we actually took action. We didn't wait for other people to walk us through it. We went out and started scanning. The app was there. They showed us how to use it. We went out and we used it.
We would literally go out.
Nikki, that's what I wanted. Nikki, that's what I wanted to ask you real quick. Is that, here Parrish was still overseas, and you just started doing this. To the guests that are on here tonight that are saying, "Is this real?" They see the check. That's with the average American making $35,000 to $39,000 a year right now. Other people that are listening in other areas of the world, Europe, Russia, all the different areas, Australia, people are having challenges on making money. To see that big of a check on stage, it's just incredible, and sometimes hard for people to wrap their minds around. So just, if you had to take the person's listening right now that has, $200 extra, that, they're thinking, can I actually do this? What would you tell them?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Our very first shipment that we sent out cost us $73. We went to the Dollar Tree. Anyone that knows us knows that we frequent Dollar Tree and stores like Five Below. We won't go over that.
It's not because we're cheap. It's definitely not because we're cheap.
Yeah, not because we're cheap, but you don't have to.
The profits are great.
Yeah, the profits are greater. Think about it. If you go out and you spend $500 to make a $45 profit, that's bonkers. You're out of $500 of liquid cash. You could take that same $500, or like you said, the same $200, and go get 200 $1 items. Or better yet, Parrish and I, we love going to the stores where we can get massive amounts of inventory for about 5 cents to 7 cents. Just do the math.
That's where it gets really interesting.
That's where it gets absolutely crazy. One of our best sellers this past year was an item that cost us 5 cents. We bundled it in a pack of 2, and it sold for about $15 all day. You know, we went
We've
through
been through
thousands
of those.
Nikki, what do you mean by bundle? I mean, what's the word bundle mean with that?
By bundling, what it means, we basically just took 2 items, we put them together in a little bag, and we shipped them off as one unit.
As one unit.
See, that's incredible. So you guys actually, you know, the person that's listening in, they've got the ability to either not touch the products and handle all of it on Amazon, or they could step in and, you know, do some bundling aspects on this. I mean, I got to tell you, it fires me up. Myself, as coming from being a professional marketer for 20 years, I mean, your income, your profits right there is what 0.1% of the top network marketers make in the world, building huge teams. And you guys really focused and were able to do that without even focusing on the team side. It was through the e-commerce side. And then after everybody just started looking at it, they're coming running at you.
Yeah, this is very true. The check that you see up there, less than 10% of that is from affiliates.
Yeah, we are totally not marketers.
Yeah, we probably have one of the smallest teams, but tote around one of the bigger checks on stage.
Guys, I got to tell you, you know, to me, you're just an incredible example of what we have within the INFINii family. You know, in that picture, standing to the right of Nikki is of course, our CEO, Hitesh Junja, who has, you know, a heart just like you guys. And Parrish, to the left of you on the screen is, of course, Kevin Hokawana, one of our other founders, and a voice that many people have heard doing webinars. And, you know, it's a different feel here at this company, and there's a different attitude. And, you know, when you do the events, and of course I was at an event with you guys, and when you do the events, you see normal people. There isn't the rah-rah running across the stage and pitching, you know, a bunch of hype. These are real people making real money. And now we've taken this to the next level with what we've done with the rewards plan. So on top of all of this that you guys have been able to create through the training and all the support you give to the people that have followed you right now, I want to say thank you to that. And what I'd like to do is transition into the rewards program. Do you guys have any closing comments for everybody listening?
I do have one. I just would like to say that the gentleman that you see on the screen, there's also one more missing. I mean, these guys are really great. They really care. And what I mean by that, I know it sounds cliche-ish, but they really do care. They care about all of the people that come into their business and utilize their platforms and trainings. I mean, to the point where they've actually will give money away when they don't really have to, just to make sure that people are successful. I mean, they go above and beyond. And I mean, my hat is off to those guys. They really are. They really changed our lives. So that's how to back that.
Well, I tell you what, man, we all love you guys and the heart that you put forward. So, Parrish, Nikki, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here tonight and share your story, and I look forward to having you guys back on again in the future.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Have an awesome time. So, you know, when we begin to understand a story like this couple right here, this is the heart of where INFINii is at. And, you know, I'm going to take 1 second here because my computer is frozen up real quick. So bear with me, folks. This is the beauty of sitting on a screen for too long and then having that happen right there. So we'll get back into this. Okay, so this is, you know, what we just saw with them was that they were able to go ahead and literally create their dream business. So what I want to talk to you about now is creating your dream business. We know that this is a business that you can build from home. This is a business that you can make your own hours. This is a business with video and live training included. As you heard both Nikki and Parrish talking there, they came in and they followed the training within the platform. This isn't you going out and doing something on your own. There's a whole structure that literally has cost millions of dollars to put in place and has been going through a 2-year-plus refinement. Now is the time to come in, and the platform continues to get refined every day. And it's just so exciting because, you know, even today, We were on there talking to Spanish leaders that were in the EU. Tomorrow we'll be on with Russian leaders. We were on with Colombian leaders the other day, and it just shows you what's happening. And folks, I don't care where you live. Commuting and boss, that's a lot of stress. And when you're working for somebody else, they're never going to pay you what you're worth. And, you're working for your boss's or your employer's dream, not your own. And this is an opportunity to come out of this. So let's get right down to the nuts and bolts here. What we're talking about in this platform are really 3 separate subscriptions. Prime is the first level. Can you imagine just $49.95 to embark upon the path that you saw Parrish and Nikki and what they've been able to accomplish here? So for less than a lot of people spend on coffee every month, because the average person, think of how much you spend on coffee. For less than people spend on coffee a month, actually about 50% less, you've got create eBay accounts, selecting an items to sell, creating your list, managing sale. You've got all these different things for Amazon, the Google piece, and the beginning process. And this is really a level where somebody who just kind of wants to stick their toe in the water and get accustomed to it is going to come in at, but they're going to be able to very quickly go into profit. The number one goal behind this is for you on your first month to go into profit. Realize the average business out there, home-based business included, you're looking at many times 3, 4, 5 months before you're going to profit in a home-based business, and in a regular franchise brick and mortar, you're looking at years. So the second membership level is Surge. This is the level for the person that's, really kind of serious about making a good part-time income. And this is $149.95 per month. Now recognize I'm not saying, hey, it's $500 for the platform and then it's this per month. We don't do that at INFINii. There isn't any upfront costs like that. This is just a monthly membership so that you can access the platform so you don't have to go out and create all this. You just tie right in. So the Surge platform includes all of the Prime features that are offered at $49.95. Plus you get all the additional things in Surge. This is kind of my favorite spot for people to start at because it's where I would start when I was first coming in to look at this. It's got advanced e-commerce training, boosting traffic and additional e-commerce tools. You've got everything you need in here to kind of immerse yourself in the process. And once you get in and take off, then you're able to go ahead and get into profit, and when you're ready to, you take the step up to the big one, which is the one that allows you to just absolutely ramp your sales through the roof. If Parrish and Nikki were on here, they would tell you that as you go through the learning steps, you come in, the Excel platform, and the things that I'm seeing are one of our online experts and our product branding experts, which is Carly, and you'll get to know her when you're inside the platform on the videos. This is all about leveraging other profits, importing your own products, creating your own Amazon brand. This is about the person that wants to earn, $1 million a year and more. And we have folks that are doing that in this platform. So it really is incredible what you have here. So there's 3 different levels, and with other companies, they always say, hey, you need to come in at the top level. Not us. I'm the one sitting here doing the presentation. I'm telling you, Surge is the sweet spot to come in and have everything you need. And then when you're making the money, you're in profit, you're definitely going to want to move up to Excel. Now, on top of those subscriptions, we love the training platform. And one of the keys as we run and continue building is continuing to expand our video training library. The e-commerce master classes, now I know if you're listening for the first time, you don't know what that is, you're going to want to. And of course, Saturday morning trainings, e-commerce team buildings, and of course, live events all over the world are starting to take place. But when you come in, and if you're with us now already, you need to pay attention to this as well, because this masterclass series is a key to success. We just had the first one last week. You're going to want to enroll in the masterclass and pursue getting your EEC certificate. And once you receive your expert e-commerce certificate, then you're going to be in a position to potentially become an INFINii trainer and travel around the world with us, because we're now open in 70 countries. You should see the people every minute. We're seeing people enroll from different countries all around the world, And we're going to need a strong support staff to get out there and really help train this. So if you're good with people and you want to do this, trust me, dive into this master class. You'll want to go ahead and take it as far as you can. Now, if all you're interested in is being a customer, then you don't even have to finish the rest of this presentation here, because what I've just talked about had nothing to do with the network marketing model. That's the beauty of this business. What I just talked about has to do with e-commerce. So those 3 platforms are fully available for customers if they want nothing to do with ever building a team or else introducing others to it, and you just want to run an e-commerce business from your home or from wherever you want to set up at, then you know all the details you need. Get back with the person that introduced you to it and get going. But I would tell you, if you'll stick around for just a couple more minutes and realize that just for an additional $9.95 a month, you could launch your own secondary home-based business, which bolts on to piece, which is the network marketing model. And folks, there's nothing small about this model. We've added 7 incredible ways to earn through this platform. Number 1, you know your e-commerce is unlimited, whatever you want to do with that. Then we have a fast start bonus. So if you introduce other people to the platform, whether they come on in a Prime, Surge, or Excel, we quickly spend you 15% or 15% fast start on the membership level for the first month. Then we've got what we call an accelerated beginner bonus. This allows you to earn up to an additional $1,000 a month in your first few months of coming in. Now that's on top of your e-commerce problems, on top of the fast start, and on top of all the other money you have going on here. And then you come into the accelerated dual team bonus. Those of you that are within the industry of network marketing, you know what I'm talking about right now. The accelerated dual team, or a dual team structure, is the #1 fast growth model within the industry. But we pay up to $50,000 a week. Folks, that's $200,000 a month just from the dual team that's available there. Now, while that may seem like a high number, look down and say, hey, what if it was an additional $500 or $1,000 a week? So just understand that dual team can pay out a significant portion. Then we come on to our INFINII Pay, and the INFINII Pay is really an override on your whole team. You're earning 5% of the BV, which is business volume, on each of the individuals that you've introduced. So in this example, let's say you introduce Susan, Mark, Ryan, and Beth. Out and built teams. And even if they didn't build teams, they're all the products that are moving within inside the INFINii platform are also producing BV, and you're going to earn 5% on that. Now, this is, for those of you in the industry, you're going to recognize that as a unilevel structure. But what's going to shock you is that most unilevels, as you know, will only pay 6 to 9 levels deep, and you're lucky if you're making any more than 2 to 3% at the very lower levels. We pay 5% of business volume in each personal enrollment line to INFINII. And the only thing you have to do is, as you go up in ranks, the caps on what you can earn each week keep increasing. And you're probably wondering right now, how could they possibly do that? Well, it's because the owners and founders of this company dedicate 70%, not 50%, which is the norm within the industry. They dedicate a full 70% of the global business volume plan. And in addition to that, they do it at a dollar-to-point ratio of 1 to 1. There isn't a game of changing numbers or anything else. On the subscription fees, for every dollar spent, it's a point into the platform. And those of you that are familiar with this know how big this is. And number 6 are elevation or rank advancement bonuses up to $10 million cumulatively. And number 7 is a global bonus where you share in 4% of the total business volume within, within all the world sales of INFINii. So you take that 4%, and then that's divided amongst ranks that you can get into very quickly. And then the last one is the golden hammock. You might be laughing at the name, but we hear in corporate America when a CEO or something floats out on a golden parachute, we know they've left the company and they escaped and were able to sit there. Well, that's a negative connotation of that. But what the golden hammock is a reward upon top of reward. So on top of all the additional stuff that you've seen in this, Once you've finished earning all the different elevation bonuses, then our golden hammock bonus, you can actually earn up to $250,000 a year for up to 10 years as you go through this, on top of it, to do anything you want with. So obviously you see there's just an incredible amount of money that is being pushed into this. And why are the owners doing it? It's because the more people that talk about this, the bigger that it gets. Remember, Amazon started in a garage selling books. Look at it today. INFINii is going to go around the globe, and it's going to do so in a massive, massive way. So the question that we need to ask you right now is, are you ready to profit with us? Are you ready to change your life? And honestly, look at yourself. Look where you were 5 years ago. Look where you are today. You know, if you don't do something different, where are you going to be in 5 years? I remember one of my bosses one time telling me the definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. Well, I think today, men and women around the globe know exactly what they want to do. They want to be financially free, and they want to live their lives. And folks, there's no better opportunity in front of you than what we're sharing right now. So contact the member who shared this presentation with you, or if you can't get a hold of them, go back to their website, theinfinii.com / and then it will be their username. And, you know, contact them, get started, because it is just on fire, and the growth of this is incredible. Once you get into that back office, select the subscription that you want, either Prime, Surge, or Excel levels. And remember, go with what you want. My recommendation is the Surge platform if you're serious about getting started, and wait until you get into the back and experience some of the training. And then number 3, if you're going to be serious about doing this, take a good hard look at that special $20,000 90 in the back office. About it, you can talk to the person who introduced this to you, and when you get in the back, you can of course talk to some other people about it. It is incredible. We have people qualifying in their first month for their director bonus, and just changing their lives. So with that, folks, we're here to help you. You have to take the next step. Come join a company that's changing lives and sweeping around the globe right now. And I'll look forward to seeing you on this next webinar, not as a guest, but instead as a partner with us and joining the INFINii family and bringing on other guests as well. It's been my pleasure tonight to be your host, and I look forward to speaking with you again. Have a great night.